Welcome back. Well, today I am joined live by Annie McCary, who is here to give us a Third Mutual special report. Well, welcome. It's been a while since we've had people in the studio, and we're doing our 6 feet. So.
Absolutely, and thank you for that.
You're welcome, yeah. Of course. Well, we've heard a lot about Third Mutual in the last few days, and you guys have a big challenge ahead of you. So let's talk a little bit about sort of what's going on.
Well, Lisa, there's a lot going on in Third Mutual, and residents are going to be hearing a lot more about it in the weeks to come. Mm-hmm. We are holding an online town hall meeting on Tuesday, September 29th at 1:30 p.m. to talk about an issue that affects us all. And I hope everyone can attend and ask questions, so you can look for today's email blast for more details about that event.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, and this is an issue that is personal for me, as it will be for all of you, I'm quite sure. For most of my life, I've been a nurse working in infectious disease and infection control, caring for people. I was also part of a hospital administration in infectious disease, and which required me to make rounds with the medical staff, with the physicians, the administrators, and also with staff. Mm-hmm. I also helped to develop policies and procedures to help keep staff, patients, as well as visitors very safe. Mm-hmm. Part of that was the education part. It's what hopefully I bring to the board. And all those years that I worked as a nurse, I really, really enjoyed my work. Mm-hmm. And it never occurred to me to retire because my work was my life. And then one day, my now husband, I noticed how happy and relaxed he was having been retired for so many years. And I thought, I can do this, I gotta do this. So then I embarked on the road to retirement. Mm-hmm. And so we retired here in Laguna Woods. So my husband and I have made this our home for almost 7 years now, and we just love it. I call the village my happy ever after home. Aww. You know, in the storybooks, we always, well, as a child, there was always at the end of the story where they lived happily ever after. Mm-hmm. And so I consider Laguna Woods as my place of being happy ever after.
I like that. I think that's great. So before we get into a little bit more about what you guys are dealing with, let's talk about how you became a Third Mutual board member. How'd they rope you in?
You know, there's a story for everything. And this is a very interesting story. I had no intention of becoming a director on Third. I didn't even know what a director was on Third Mutual. Mm-hmm. And one day I was volunteering down at Laguna Woods City Hall, mm-hmm. and I noticed in the Globe there was an ad for a vacant seat to fill an empty board seat on Third Mutual. And I looked at it and I thought, I could do that. I could do that. I don't know what it is, but I could do it. So I did. I basically applied and I got elected.
Okay.
And so things have been really well, and apparently they're really well because later on I got elected as first vice president. Wow. And so I'm really, really in the trenches of being a director on Third Mutual right now.
Oh, I bet. And now you have this giant thing that you're having to do now, which, you know, actually is a good thing for a lot of people from what we're hearing. Uh-huh. But you also want to mention how some of the things that are going on with Third Mutual. Tell me a little bit about how it got to this point.
So I would love to share with everybody what I know. Third Mutual put the ballot proposition out to the Third community so we could protect our service and our amenities here in Laguna Woods. Mm-hmm. The ballot proposition will restate our tangled mess of ccnrs, our governing documents for people that are not familiar with the ccnrs, and our bylaws so they can make more sense and will be easier to work with by modernizing them. The board will be able to work more effectively and efficiently. Restating the ccnrs and bylaws in this case means starting fresh, With our attorney, we have consolidated, updated, and changed them for the better. And that has been a process that all of the board members have been working on intensely over the past couple of weeks, even months.
Right, and I heard that they went from thousands of pages to now only
Over
like
20,000,
yeah,
over
about
20,000.
107 now, something like that. Which, thank goodness, that's a lot of pages. So changing the CCNRs and bylaws, how is that actually going to help Third Mutual?
You know, that's a good question, and I'm glad you're asking that question too. As I understand it, because of the way the units in Third Mutual were built out years ago, one small tract of units at a time, each tract formed its own HOA, and each HOA established their own set of CCNRs and bylaws as well. That resulted in a lot of convoluted documents that have to be sourced whenever we try and take any kind of action. So it's pretty labor intensive for board when we have to go through thousands and thousands of pages to get the information that we need. So we figured out, and we've discovered that it's really a mess that needs to be cleaned up.
Okay.
And so by making one set of Third Mutual CCNRs that are clear and concise, we'll save staff time, get quicker approval from our attorney, plus we'll have a better control over our costs and our assessment fees.
Right, right. And so why is it so important for the Third Mutual to do the ballot proposition right now?
This is a really, really big issue, Lisa. And just a little bit of my history. I'm like 13th of 16 children in my family. And so we worked on a small farm in Selma, Alabama, where we know a thing or two about the weather. It seems to me like a perfect storm is brewing in Third Mutual.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the factors are lining up to raise our outside services and our operational costs. The biggest cost that is threatening Third Mutual's operational reserve and our assessment rate is real estate insurance coverage.
Right.
In order to afford insurance, over the coming years, we need all owners to vote yes on the ballot proposition, plain and simple.
Right. Well, I understand that the valuation of Laguna Woods Village has gone from $700 million to now $3.4 billion.
Yes.
And I'm jumping ahead a little bit because we're going to run out of time. So I want to make sure that you're able to clarify why this is such a big issue.
Okay. So what page are you on?
You just tell me about, why is it so important that, why are the insurance companies raising the valuations and possibly raising their prices?
Okay. So let me just, again, that's part of the perfect storm I was talking about.
Right.
Several things happened at once. And as you mentioned, our property valuation from $700 million to $3.4 billion, as you stated. We can be grateful, first of all, that our property has really appreciated, but in addition to that, our insurance premium has risen as well.
Right.
Insurance companies are also aware of our location, all the risk of wildfires, especially in areas that border the village on the north side, affecting our premiums. So the whole world right now is on lockdown and is more aware of what's going on within, not just in California, but in the world in terms of disasters, wildfires and storms and things of that nature.
Right. Now I understand that ballots will be mailed to all eligible voters in the Third Mutual, and that is happening Friday, October 2nd. And then what is the cutoff time for them to vote?
You can vote anytime you get your ballot up until 4 p.m. on November 2nd.
Okay, great. That's perfect. And then 550, let's see, there was an interesting number that you said here, actually something we should be aware of, since there were a recent election in the village where 550 ballots were voided. Why were they voided?
Well, and that's a really good question, and it's something that we would really want to make our residents aware of. Those ballots were voided because they were not completed properly.
Okay.
Stuff like signing on the confidential ballot versus signing on the envelope. And so when that happens, that vote has to be discarded.
Oh, man. plan.
And another error that we want residents to be really aware of is the way you fill out the bubble. Instead of checking the yes or no box, it needs to be penciled in.
Oh, completely.
Completely.
Okay,
yes.
perfect. And then will you explain how to do all of this in the town hall meeting next Tuesday?
And the town hall meeting
Okay.
that's coming up next Tuesday, there's
Okay.
going to be a lot more additional information. We're going to have our treasurer to explain some of the financial implications of what's going on with Third Mutual right now. And we're hoping that people send their questions in to us ahead of time so that we can clarify any questions that you may have.
Great, and let's go ahead and give them that email address. It's no mess, vote yes at lagunawoodsvillage.com, and then they could call 949-354-4199.
Yes, and
Excellent.
all the directors are available
Okay.
for any questions that you may have.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I know this was a lot of information. You did great. I appreciate you spending the time with us.
Thank you, and everybody out there have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you. And we are closing out here, so we'll come back and we'll have a couple of little tidbits for you and the weather. Stay tuned.